Welcome to VEROSCOPE this evening, where we're going to be analysing the body cam footage of the police officer who is interviewing the parents of Madeline Soto, Jennifer Soto, and not the parents, rather, the mother of Madeline Soto and her boyfriend at the time, Stephan Sterns. If you're new to the case, this is Stephan Sterns. Madeline was a child who was just 13. She was murdered on her celebration day, or the morning after, by Stephan Sterns, who has been sentenced to 21 life sentences. And her mother, Jennifer Soto, we're going to be analysing her linguistics today, and I believe we're going to be demonstrating that it is highly likely that she was aware of the crime and involved in the cover-up, in my opinion. But we'll look at that in forensic detail and see what evidence there is, and as the audience, you can judge from what you see. So if we start with the playing some of the video to get some of the background, that would make sense from now. This is the police officer walking into the school reception area where the parents are waiting. Not the parents, sorry. Stephan is the boyfriend.
By any chance, does she have a phone number or a phone?
She does, but she left it at home today. I have it.
You have it.
And I've already.
Okay, so immediately, if we notice there, that was delivered like a statement, and is unusual.
Her messages.
Okay. How about, does she have like Apple Watch? No.
She's got a device. The only device she's got on her right now is her school laptop.
Her school laptop. Is that trackable?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
It should be trackable. It should be. If the Wi-Fi is turned on, it'll try to connect to any Wi-Fi. So if I like circle here, it connects to any USB.
Okay, so she's showing distress about the laptop Wi-Fi being trackable, and then she glanced at the officer. And she uses the word never. And if you've been watching the forensic linguistics analysis programs on this channel, the last 7 or 8 of them, you'll know that the word never, the vast majority of the time when it's found in criminal statements in this circumstance, will be deceptive. So let's have a little look at the linguistics which have been used so far, and we'll start to begin the analysis. This is the summary. This analysis reveals coordinated deception between Jennifer Soto and Stephan Sterns regarding Madeline Soto's disappearance. This is all my opinion, and I will go on to show you why I have this opinion. Multiple linguistic impossibilities indicate both subjects possess guilty knowledge while performing a missing person narrative. Okay, so let's begin the forensic linguistics analysis. The officer walks in. He says, by any chance, does she have a phone number, a phone? Jenn Soto says, she does, but she left it at home today. I have it. So this is an unusual structure where her priority is to immediately state that she has Madeline's telephone, and her priority is to immediately state that she left it at home. The officer says, you have it, very quickly, and then Jenn immediately says, and I've already left her messages. So you might pick up that there doesn't seem to be an explanation of frustration or anger or narrative to show the enormity of Madeline doesn't have her phone with her. A normal mother would be more frustrated. The officer asks, how about an Apple Watch? Looking for devices that can be tracked. Jenn, the only device she's got on her right now is her school laptop. Here we have what is possibly an assumption which she shouldn't necessarily be aware of because she might be at her friend's house. We don't know what's happened to her since the morning when she was dropped off and the current time, which is late afternoon. But Jenn is absolutely convinced that the only device that she's got on her right now is her school laptop. And for those who are aware of the case, the school laptop, I believe, was in the backpack and has already been dumped, separated away from the body. But I would imagine that if Jenn is aware that Stephan Sterns took Madeline and her backpack and her laptop, in her mind, the only device that she's got on her right now is indeed her school laptop. Let's look at that in a little bit more forensic detail. So, this analysis examines body cam footage for the day Madeline Soto was reported missing. Every pattern documented here has been verified against the actual transcript using VEROSCOPE forensic linguistics methodology. I've had a little bit more time to analyze this case than I normally do when demonstrating how we do forensics linguistics, and also because of the importance of the case, I've spent a little bit more time on it. So this should be a bit more accurate than the standard demonstration transcripts that you've already seen. So let's go into detail here. And also by now, if you've watched the previous videos, you should be expecting to go into much more depth, and let's start to become more advanced. So she does, but she left it at home today. I have it. This is the immediate delivery, and I believe that it's wrong. The officer says, you have it, and she says, and I've already left her messages. So this means we need to know the timeline of when she discovers the phone, and ideally we need to know what are the messages that she's left. However, the linguistics are incorrect, so let's go and examine those. Jennifer states matter-of-factly, she left it at home today, I have it. What's missing? Every parent whose child is missing would express far more frustration about the phone being left behind. The emotional response should be, damn it, she left her phone, now I can't reach her, I've got it, I can't believe it. These sorts of expressions. Could be possible that she's using pharmaceuticals, prescribed or not prescribed, and to some degree it would alter her linguistics, but not to the extent where we don't see any frustration whatsoever with her child missing her telephone. Instead, Jennifer shows a complete emotional void. No frustration, no real anger, no desperation about the missing telephone and being unable to contact her missing child. The already performance, this is important. Linguistically, this is very important. And I've already left her messages. So this could be a linguistic error, unconsciously. She's asking us to believe that she has Madeline's phone, and with her own phone, she's been leaving Madeline messages. That's what came out unconsciously. I believe it's an error. I believe it's a huge error. And the word already reveals the performance of the expected behavior. It indicates it's completed performance. I've done what a concerned mother would do, and we've got a temporal problem. When exactly did she discover the phone and leave the messages? No explanation of futility. It doesn't mention the obvious, that Madeline can't receive these messages. And in many crime scenes that involve telephones, we have the criminals deliberately being in possession of the victim's telephone, texting messages to it, and leaving telephone calls to it. So with Jenn Soto has infinite possibilities, um, and yet immediately uh, says, "And I've already left her messages." The laptop statement. The only device that she's got on her right now is her school laptop. So the certainty of limitation here is incorrect. Jennifer uses only, and she uses present tense certainty about that Madeline has right now, and yet number of hours have allegedly passed since the separation. So she shouldn't know whether this is the only device that she has on her right now. Madeline's been missing. Let's go back to the analysis because we're getting ahead of ourselves. But since you've seen this, we might as well cover it briefly. We know there's a problem with the pronouns of we and I with the school drop-off. And Stephan is the one who uses the we here. And Jenn uses the he. So we have, and he's using the we in front of her. So I believe that there's pre-planning with the school drop-off that initially involved Jenn saying to us that Stephan and her dropped her off, and I believe she changed that later in her testimony to she was under the duvet and actually wasn't up. And for the very first time, Stephan Sterns drops Madaline at school completely out of the blue. Let's go back to the video. Let's listen to that again. Listen very carefully. It's unusual. I've already sent her messages. Already.
This is mom right here. Okay, fine. By any chance, does she have a phone number or a phone?
She does, but she left it at home today. I have it.
Okay, so there's the prepared statement.
Have it.
And I've already gone through her messages.
Okay, how about, does she have like an Apple Watch? No. Does she have
She's got a device. The only device she's got on her right now is her school laptop.
her school laptop? Is that trackable?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
It should be trackable. It should be. If the Wi-Fi is turned on, it'll try to connect to any Wi-Fi. So if I like circle here. It connects to any USB station.
Well, does she know have a history of running away or anything like that? She's just hanging out time kind of thing?
Possibly, I don't know. She got dropped off. She was like, so she's embarrassed by his car. So she didn't want to be dropped off at school. She wanted to be dropped off like half a block away so she can walk.
It's an image thing. She's in the face.
But he dropped her off half a block away and drove away.
And drove away. And that's it. We have a priority order, which is slightly forgiven because the police officer did immediately ask about the telephone. Traditionally, we might say that her priority should be looking for Madaline and not establishing the telephone alibi. It's diluted slightly because of the question. However, her delivery indicates to me that it is, in fact, the priority to deliver the alibi, and it was delivered in a tonality and speed and linguistically, which demonstrates to me that that is a pre-prepared, immediate statement, whether he had asked about the telephone or not. So we have a priority inversion where she should be delivering information about Madaline, and instead she's delivering information about the telephone alibi. Let's go into a little bit more detail on that. So this is where we have got up to, and next we're going to hear from somebody else. Does she have a history of running away? Never. And then another question is asked, and it's hard to make out, something around she might be just hanging out. And Jenn says, I possibly, I don't know. So recognize the linguistic fractures of deception. She got dropped off, and you know I'm concerned about this phraseology. She was like, so. She's embarrassed by his car. So here we have the delivery of the reason why, so being the in blue as the indicator. She's embarrassed by his car. And yet we're told in another statement that this is the very first time that Stephan Sterns has dropped her at school. So this is excuse making, which is linguistics incorrect for her statement of this is the first time he's dropped her at school. She's embarrassed by his car, and the reason that she's using this is to justify later on in the statement why it is that she was dropped off. Like here we are. So she didn't want to be dropped off at school. She, notice the pronouns. Her daughter's missing. Her daughter's missing. Madeline's missing. In deceptive statements, deceptive criminal statements in particular, and missing person statements in particular, we have the name removed mathematically incorrectly, percentage-wise. And with Jennifer Soto, she's off the scale. She literally drops her child's name. So she didn't want to be dropped off at school. She wanted to be dropped off like, which isn't necessarily. So here she ruins her statement by telling us that it isn't like this at all, but it's only like half a block away in her mind. So she can walk. So immediately we have deceptive markers, and lots of them. Sterns chimes in. She's in a phase, I think is his reason why, his excuse. Jenn takes over. He, referring to Sterns, dropped her off half a block away and drove away. So here, which should be in pink, we have sensitivity. Very close together, repeating the excuse. The officer says, incorrect transcript slightly, but we can't quite hear. Did she ever go to school? And Jenn says, no, we called school. And then Sterns chimes in. They're talking over each other a little bit. She was walking in that direction. I don't know if we've covered in the lessons so far, but I will do so in another lesson without getting sidetracked. The difference between this and that in the linguistics is very important and tells us a lot. That is slightly further away. This is slightly closer. But in this case, she says she was walking in that direction. She was rifling through her backpack, which we know is sensitive, just looking for something. We're being told this is viewed in the rear view mirror as he's driving away. She was walking in that direction. She was rifling through her backpack just looking for something. As he's driving away in the rear view mirror, I thought maybe she was just looking for headphones before she got to walking on. But she was just kind of ruining his statement, because this is saying that she didn't actually do this. Kind of is a wonderful clue that what you're about to hear isn't the truth. Shambling. This is very interesting linguistics here. Shambling. Rifling and shambling. Over in that direction. Looked the same as any other morning. So do you recognize this pattern? We call this the normal factor. And it's so common in criminal deceptive statements. So we're expected to believe in the rear view mirror that he viewed all of this, the backpack, which we know is sensitive, the shambling, which is the linguistics of zombie-like mortality. And remember, what's on the top of their mind, or the tip of their tongue, so to speak, is very often leakage, and I believe this is leakage. And I believe this is a sort of leakage as well, although she wasn't murdered with a rifle. Let's go back to the actual body cam footage.
Okay. Did she ever go to school though?
No, we called
She
school.
was walking in that direction, she was rifling through her backpack, just looking for something. I thought maybe she was just looking for headphones before she got her walking on.
Yeah.
But she was just kind of, shambling over in that direction. It looked the same as any other morning.
Okay.
What was the last thing you asked?
If she had went to school, I think that's what it was.
So I got confirmation from the school that she never made it. They sent me an email saying she didn't make it. But I also spoke to her, or emailed one of her teachers directly, and he looked at all her attendance for all her periods and told me she didn't make it at all today.
Okay, so the make it phraseology. Let's look at her linguistics in detail. Jenn says, I think black shorts, possibly black shorts and white Crocs or socks. Officer, what was the last time you saw her? Around 8:30, 8:40 when we dropped her off. Weight, 110 pounds. Hair colour, blonde like a dirty blonde. Officer, eye colour, blue. Does she have any markings, like any scars or anything? A distinctive beauty mark on her face, near the nose. It's very distinctive. You'd know it if you saw it. This is from Sterns. And then we go on with the phone call with the principal. But let's have a look at the we impossibility in more detail. What was the last time you saw her? Sterns. Around 8:30 to 8:40 when we dropped her off. So Sterns uses the we for the drop-off. Jennifer claims she was in bed during the drop-off. We know this from a later interview. And obviously one cannot be present or absent. Both present and absent, rather. And this unity language, which we've seen and we've identified before, the psychological togetherness, the complicity, is being demonstrated by the we pronoun and said in front of Jenn, which indicates to me that the prior planning was that they were both supposed to stick to that story. The Sterns' impossible visual details. She was walking in that direction. She was rifling through her backpack, just looking for something. I thought maybe she was just, remember this is important for us, looking for headphones before she got to walking on. But she was just kind of, ruins his statement, shambling over in that direction. So, claims he drove away after dropping her off, describes the detailed observations in the rear view mirror, sees her looking for headphones, watches her shambling in a particular direction. And these observations require extended visual contact. In other words, it's fabrication. It didn't happen. And it's impossible if he immediately drove away as he claimed. He can't have it both ways. And this is the problem with fabrication. These errors are made. And when they're looked at slowly and in detail, although not obvious at first, it reveals it all. It does reveal that this is fabrication. And it's a fabrication that Jennifer Soto is going along with. And we're finding indications and evidence, linguistic evidence, that she's involved in the cover-up, in my opinion. The shambling word. Yes, this really is concerning and I think leakage. It is an unusual word to describe a child walking. It's that zombie or Walking Dead imagery. Unconscious leakage. If we go into detail about Jennifer's Do you remember? We've just gone over it. I, possibly, I don't know. And we have 7 hesitation markers. And what's really happening inside her mind is the enormous stress of managing the narratives, the truth, the suppression of the truth, and the fabrication. And even worse, because there's two of them, they have to manage each other, the plan, and they have to manage what you're thinking of them as they deliver it. And this causes an overload, a computing overload in effect. And so we get this very strange pattern, which we start to hear, or like an accent instinctively, after so many times of seeing the patterns. They're unmistakable, and they don't appear in honest, truthful statements. A caveat: we place flags in deceptive markers. People often have ways of talking which are individual to them, and so we have to measure a baseline. And individual flags don't tell us too much by themselves. But once we begin to get clusters and superclusters of these deceptive markers, we can begin to say to ourselves that deception is indicated. As an aside, we tend to always give the benefit of the doubt, because in a deceptive statement there will be so many clusters and superclusters that we can afford to always give the benefit of the doubt, is one way of looking at it. So, clothing. The clothing is interesting. We know from previous analysis that the clothing is sensitive, and so is money. But let's concentrate on the clothing. And they can't agree on the basic clothing. The black shorts, the possibly black shorts, the white Crocs, which ended up being one white Croc, and the socks. Jennifer says that she emailed a teacher, and emailing is slow. Doesn't necessarily get a response, although she did. And she didn't call. I think most of us with a missing child would be calling, and calling. We wouldn't necessarily, if they're genuinely missing, we wouldn't be sending emails, we would be calling, in my opinion. This is causing psychological distance away from urgency. So we have a vague drop-off, no indication of exactly where. In fact, we get linguistics of kind of, sort of, or whatever the words were, but essentially it was minimizing their own statement. No landmarks, no exactness, no identification of anyone else who was there at the scene, only the rear view mirror of the shambling. Let's play the video.
Say it again? No, she's supposed to have a book bag. She was supposed to go to school, but didn't go to school today.
Good.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Battery FGOA 2319 Turtleback Loop. Third party for Saturday.
Okay.
Complaint
Alright.
Children
Cool.
by 2 juvenile males. Your request is 1045 only. It's code 2 1945.
I'm trying to figure out secondary spots, but so far negative on anything. Yeah, you could be 51 to me. Alright, cool. 34 too. Alright, cool.
Attention Sector 4 units, prepare to copy a local from OPD at quarantine.
Yeah, it said negative on that hit at the park.
Way,
So.
reference a 21 to a vehicle. Pursuing local, reference a 21 to a vehicle.
I think
Going
black
to be
shorts.
an unknown male, gray hoodie, black
Possibly
pants,
black
black
shorts and
ski mat,
white Crocs with socks.
No further information. 1064, 1946.
And when was the last time you seen her? Do you know around what time?
Around 8:30, 8:40 when we dropped her off.
How tall is she?
5'1".
Yeah.
Did you hear that? When we dropped her off, right in front of Jennifer.
1946.
And when was the last time you seen her? Do you know around what time?
Around 8:30, 8:40 when we dropped her off.
And did you notice the stutter? Let's just pick it. It's so important, and it's right in front of Jennifer.
Information 1064, 1946.
And when was the last time you seen her? Do you know around what time?
Around 8:30, 8:40 when we dropped her off.
How tall is she?
5'1".
To me, this indicates joint prior planning, but changing their minds with Jennifer's under the duvet excuse and him going alone. He didn't go alone to drop her at school. We know that he dropped her in a wooded area and got a flat tire. But the fabrication plan from this linguistic evidence saying in front of Jennifer and stuttering with the pronoun we, to me, indicates prior planning, joint planning.
Weight?
110 pounds.
About 110, 112.
Hair color?
Blonde.
Blonde, like a dirty blonde.
Like a dirty blonde?
Yeah.
Okay. Eye color?
Blue.
Does she have any markings on her, like any scars or
She
anything
has
like that?
a distinctive beauty mark on her face here.
On her face?
On the face, like below the nose or near the nose?
Yeah, like right in that area there. It's very distinctive. You'd know it if you saw it. Big.
Any other scars or anything like that we should know about?
Scars?
No.
Tattoos?
No.
Okay, and she shouldn't be laughing and smiling at the tattoos joke.
You'd be surprised. Did you put out the description?
I put the top part out. I didn't get the rest.
This is ingratiation, which it isn't normal.
That stuff here, so I can put it out.
Got me 34s here. Updated 14. White female.
Can I just see that phone?
Black shorts, white crosscut socks, approximately 5'1" height. Blonde, dirty blonde hair. Blue eyes. Has a beauty mark under the nose.
I'm getting a random 407 number. Okay. Hello? Yes? Hi, Principal. I'm okay. How are you? No, currently with the police officers here right now.
Start getting the
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find her
paperwork.
anything.
Does she have any social media?
Okay, so covered in a previous video and just touched on with the ingratiation to the officers and the joking and the smiling and the laughing. When she answers the telephone to the principal, we have immediate ingratiation and we have immediate incorrect linguistics for a missing child and a supposedly desperate mother. It's so unusual to have the linguistics of, hi, I'm fine, how are you? Yes, what did you do at the weekend? It just doesn't happen. She's acting. Okay, let's move on into a little bit more detail on the actual linguistics so that we can see the we impossibility. Around 8:30 to 8:40 when we dropped her off. We know that Jennifer claims that she was in bed. Stern's observation impossibility, rifling through the backpack, shambling, looking for headphones after allegedly driving away. The missing frustration void. Jennifer shows zero frustration about Madeline leaving her phone, and in fact presents it immediately as the alibi with the excuse that the subject was brought up. Every parent would express far more anger, far more frustration, far more fear about being unable to contact their missing child. I mean, how unlucky can you get that on the day that she goes missing, inverted commas, the telephone is in Jenn's possession, but it's okay, she's already sent messages. This emotional absence is diagnostic. Now, we do have to bear in mind prescription drugs will alter the emotional or will her emotional absence can be explained to some degree by the drugs, but I don't think all. The principal phone call confession. Hello, yes, hi, principal. I'm okay. How are you today? Definitely incorrect social pleasantries. Instead of, and this may sound wrong to you if you haven't heard 500 911 calls, but what we should be hearing is immediate, have you found her? Where is she? What are you doing? Who have you spoken with? Have you got all the teachers? This is the sort of linguistics that we should be hearing, not the happy hi, yes, hi, I'm okay, how are you? It's just wrong. For a genuine, authentic mother in high distress and panic and fear, it's just wrong. The cognitive collapse pattern. Possibly, I don't know, she got dropped off, she was like, We recognize this pattern from all the different cases that we've studied. You should be recognizing this immediately. The shambling, the clothing confusion. I think she was dressed when she was passed away by both of them. And I believe that in this awful, horrific, traumatic situation, helping each other with sometimes one whose mind is concentrating on one set of clothing and one whose mind is concentrating on another set of clothing. Between them, in the confusion, they can't. The human mind can't get the facts straight between them both. The email instead of the call. The right now, in terms of the technology, the only tech that she's got on her right now is such and such. The only device she's got on her right now. The certainty about that it is incorrect. The zero search urgency. Notice that she never asks officers to search specific locations. She doesn't provide friends' names. She's not mentioning favorite places. She's not saying, please hurry. There's no panic. There's no authentic, genuine fear in her eyes, apart from once, and incorrectly so, because being told that the laptop could in fact trace her daughter. Instead, we see the body language and the facial expressions of fear and panic. It's the wrong way around. When she learnt this, we should have seen the body language and facial expressions of hope, not fear and panic. And the synchronization of the description appears slightly prepared. We have the missing name of Madeline in the pronouns. We have too many cognitive collapses and patterns of deception. The hesitation markers. Sterns is providing detailed observations. Here, I couldn't quite fully get the linguistics confidently analysed, but I think this is what we heard. They were all talking over each other. Jen's answering the telephone. Hello, yes, hi, Principal. I'm okay. Hi, how are you? No, we are with police officers right now. We are trying to get a report. So here we have what's important to Jennifer. What should be important to Jennifer is not trying to get a report. We should be hearing the linguistics of trying to get a search underway. This is administration, not search. So we're missing the desperation, we're missing the panic, and we're missing the vital question. Far more important than how are you is have you found her yet? In these situations, whether it's a phone call to emergency services or whether it's speaking to someone who should be responsible for your daughter, we don't see the ingratiation and we don't see the joking and the laughing with the police officers. A parent frantically searching would naturally be far more demanding. A lack of social pleasantries is the norm. We have rehearsal indicators. We have a high degree of certainty of deception patterns in the linguistics. If you have time to pause the video later, I don't think for everybody it's time to go into the mathematics, but if you have time to pause the video, certainly do so. Okay, so let's play on with the tape.
Or anything like that. She has Instagram.
Bring her.
OBT, have fun.
Bring her phone.
Private.
It is private, yeah.
Just family,
Thank
cousins,
you so much. I
friends.
definitely appreciate it. I'm gonna...
Right here.
That's her profile?
Yeah.
Little figgy.
She also has a YouTube page.
Okay. Any Snapchat or?
Right now. She
Let me get
plays
the-
games.
No, that's the
Yeah,
daughter's
she plays
phone.
games. She plays like Minecraft.
Okay. So, the converging impossibilities, the linguistic evidence. We dropped her off. We know this is impossible because it's a fabrication to begin with, but it is showing unity between Jennifer and Stephan. We have the missing emotional responses. We have the cognitive collapse pattern that we're beginning to recognize. We have terrible linguistics from Sterns. So if the body of Madeline wasn't discovered, and as a result of that, Sterns hadn't been arrested with all of the, and let's say we hadn't caught CCTV of Sterns throwing her backpack away with the laptop and all the rest of the evidence put together, from this body cam initial interview, we would have sufficient evidence as forensic linguistic analysts to know. We would know. And we would be able to immediately inform law enforcement of our findings. And in fact, this same forensic analysis style of investigation is used by the behavioral analysis units. Get my rugby gum shield out of my mouth. Out of the behavioral analysis unit of the FBI. So you're seeing they do have far better and far more trained analysts than I, and they have far better systems and softwares and no doubt AIs. But essentially, it's a very similar process. What we should have been seeing is, calling, no social pleasantries. We should have been hearing specifically where she was dropped off. All sorts of things. This phone that Jennifer has sent messages to, it would be really wonderful to get hold of the messages and exactly when they were sent, because I suspect it's my high suspicion that we will see the language of Jennifer Soto and not the language, that we'll see the language of Jennifer Soto acting and not the language of an authentic mother. I think this is the classic sending texts and making phone calls in possession of the telephone, in possession of Madeline's telephone, which was left at home on purpose so that Stephan Sterns could take her body, place it in the woods without the telephone pinging the towers and giving the location away. And I think Jennifer sent this telephone messages from her own phone whilst she was in possession of it. That's my opinion. So we're coming time-wise to the end. If you want to save this video and pause it and give you more time to read through some of the findings, that would be a good idea if you're learning statement analysis. And that brings us to the end of today's analysis, and I look forward to see you tomorrow, where I have another video planned, which is a new case from one of the suggestions that has been put in the comments. We still need to finish the interview which Soto had, where she had immunity. There's 2 more to come of those, and we need to finish some of the phone calls which Stephan Sterns had from prison. And also we've got Karen Reid and Jennifer McCabe to analyse. And also somebody has asked to do a mushroom murder case in Australia. So lots to come. I hope you're learning, and I look forward to talking with you in the comments. Have a good evening.